looking at Ami in the concordance, we have H5971, which is the root word which means nation, people. People, nation, persons, members of one's people, compatriots, countrymen, kinsmen, kindred. In other words, Ami means my people. And Ruhama is H7355. It's the root word is Racham, and it means to love deeply, have mercy, be compassionate, have tender affection, have compassion, to love, to have compassion, to be compassionate of God, man, to be shown compassion or be compassionate. In other words, Ruhama means to have mercy. So, Genesis 28, it says, and God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. Verse 21 says, so that I come again to my father's house in peace. Then shall the Lord be my God. So, here's the connection of God blessing Jacob that he would be a multitude of people, and at the end of the chapter, it says if Jacob comes home in peace, God is gonna be his God. And you'll also find in Hosea 2 verses 1, 4 and 23, say ye unto your brethren Ami, and your sisters Ruhama, meaning my people, and as a people who had mercy by God. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. Well, there's a gap between verses 1 and 4, which would explain why at that point God said that he was not gonna that she's not his wife. Here it is, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked, and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. Yeah, and verse 23 says, and I will sow her into me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy, and I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people, and they shall say, thou art my God. And then I wrote down, this is something to study further within the inner wheel of Hosea 2 verse 1 and 23 match up. Remember, first cycle has 22 spokes, or one cycle has 22 spokes according to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Therefore 23 is 1 plus 22. In other words, verses 1 and 23 align together. But I haven't checked the rest of the verses, so this hasn't been proven yet. And then jumping on to Hosea 3, so it's the same thing, where it says, then shall the Lord be my God, and Hosea 3 verse 5, it says, afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. Jumping on to Hosea 4. So here's a note that I had made. Let's sidetrack for a moment. Look at Hosea 2 verse 4 Then look at Hosea 4. So Hosea 2 verse 4 says, "And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms." And Hosea 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, you children of Israel, for the Lord had a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. And thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, and will also forget thy children. For they shall eat and not have enough, they shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed of the Lord, to the Lord. Uh, Whoredom and wine and new wine may take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declare it unto them. For the spirit of whoredoms hath caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their God. They sacrifice upon the top of the mountains, and burn incense upon the hills, under the oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery, for themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall." Looking back at, "And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms." Uh, it does say that I will also forget thy children, and it talks about they shall commit whoredoms, the women shall commit whoredoms, and it says I will not have mercy, which is also mentioned here in Hosea 4 verse 1. So there's a connection to that. Looking at the name Luz, it's H3869 in the concordance, which means almond tree. The early name of Bethel, and probably the name of the town in close proximity to the actual location of the altar and the pillar of Jacob. The name of the town in the land of the Hittites, site unknown. This was Hosea 5 that I was talking about, the 20th book, the 5th chapter, and that was the 285 was the numerical value of para, the name para, which meant fruitful, which is mentioned in Genesis 28:3 actually.